Hey gang, and welcome back to Ragnarok Survival, or if this is your first time, welcome. You're in the rabbit hole now. I'm Stuart, and today what we're going to talk about is apocalypse burnout. But before we kick off, if you like my videos, if you like this channel, please feel free to hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and share this with anyone that you think it would help. It really helps me spread this word, and I think the more people we can get involved in this community, the better off we'll all be. Okay, so what am I talking about with apocalypse burnout? Today, we have a lot of doom and gloom going on. There's a whole heap of badness that we're getting thrown at us through the mainstream media and through all media, in fact. We're kind of indoctrinated or soaked in an environment of fear and uncertainty right now. And that can be pretty anxiety provoking. It certainly does it with me. And this is what I call apocalypse burnout. It's when we start to allow that anxiety to overcome what we're rationally doing in our lives. So this channel here, what I'm trying to do is put out emergency and disaster preparedness information, or what we usually call prepping. Now, the point of prepping is not to make you paranoid. It's actually the opposite of that. The point of prepping is to make you more confident in your own ability to survive emergency situations. It's to make you less fearful of an uncertain future. So to that end, what I want to do today is actually show you 5 of my current favorite techniques for resting and relaxing when we're thinking about all the doom and gloom that can happen in the world. So the first technique that I like doing is exercise. So this shouldn't be any surprise to anyone who knows me. I'm actually a sports and exercise scientist, so I do really like to exercise when I can. But apart from the physical benefits for exercising, there are a whole heap of psychological benefits. So it can help us with depression and anxiety. It can enhance our mood, but most importantly, I think for preppers, is that it can actually decrease our stress levels and make us more resilient against stress in future situations. So a stressful situation, or what we would usually call a fight and flight sort of situation, is a psychological response, or I should say a physical response to a psychological stimuli. So we get some sort of threat appear and our body does a whole heap of things, which is a physical response to that psychological cue. Now, that response that we get is actually almost identical to physical exercise. So the more we can actually exercise our bodies, the more used to being in that situation we will be. So that if we do find ourselves in an emergency situation, our body isn't like, whoa, what the is this? What is going on? It actually knows, oh, yep, I know what happens here. I know what to do. Yep, this adrenaline stuff. Oh, yep, we're going to increase our heart rate. We're going to increase our breathing rate. We're going to have to, use our muscles a bit. All right, yep, I can do this. So exercise is the first one that I think is a great idea. Second one is some sort of meditation practice. So I have a personal meditation practice that I learned off a really good friend of mine, one of my best friends, in fact. And I'll throw up a link to her training down in the show notes there, so you can check that out. But it doesn't really matter. There's not any specific technique that I would say you have to do. I've done a whole bunch of different meditation techniques, and I wouldn't necessarily say that one is better than the other. I think that some are more suited to some people than other ones are. But ever since I was a kid and I did martial arts, we used to sit there and do a form of meditation with that. And I've trialed a number of them throughout my life. To me, it doesn't really matter what it is. What matters is that you are doing something where you actually take yourself out of the situation. You breathe, you focus on yourself, and you drop out of what is going on in your mind. So meditation, the second one. Third one is vegging out, relaxing, chilling out. Might seem like a bit of a weird one, that this sort of behavior where we're not getting anything done, but I think it's actually pretty essential. So for me, it is reading a book or watching a movie, watching a TV series, or even playing video games. And I take this time pretty seriously, as in I'm not being serious in that time, but I'm structuring that time in a serious way because I know it's essential for me to actually drop out of what's happening and focus on something totally unimportant for a while. So vegging out, that's a big one for me. Number 4 is working the land, and this can come in a number of different forms. I've got land that I can actually go to my bug out location, and anyone who's got land will know that the list of things to do on land is never ending. It is actually infinite. There is no end of stuff that you could do on the land, whether it be like felling trees or building structures or looking after animals or cutting grass or growing food or prepping parts of the land or digging a new hole for this or, whatever it is. There's a million things you can do. But guaranteed, after I've done it, I always feel heaps better about myself, and I always feel heaps better about my situation in the world. If you don't have land, even gardening. So I've lived in apartments before where I've gardened out of pots, and I would recommend it. Getting your hands in earth, growing something, is a fantastic way for you to kind of rest, relax, and not think about the bad things that are going on in the world. Okay, and the last one is nature time. So this one can encompass a whole heap of things. I quite often call this nature exposure, where I'm being exposed to the natural elements in some way. It might be taking a nice stroll or a hike through a natural area. It could be taking an arduous hike over many days through quite a hectic area. It could even be something as simple as being exposed to temperature extremes. So maybe like saunas or ice baths or something like that. And one of my favorite things to do is cold showers or ice baths. I love them. But definitely I would say it's really something that's beneficial on a number of different reasons, both physically and psychologically. So I highly recommend getting out to nature and experiencing that extremity that nature can provide us. So that's my top 5 techniques. I haven't really gone into any detail on any of them. I'm just showing you what I've got there and the tools that I use to help bring myself back down, to bring those anxiety levels back down, because I am staring at a lot of negative information pretty much every day. You may have some other techniques, and I would absolutely love to hear what they are. So if you do have something that you do, pop it into the comments below and share it with everyone. I'm really keen to know what everyone else does. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel if you're liking the content that I'm putting out there, and feel free to share it with people again. Help get the word out there so we can help make us all more safe. But until next time, that's it, guys. So stay safe, keep preparing, and Semper Paratus.